State, Idris Abdulaziz has described the suspended Resident Electoral Commissioner in Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Ari, as a disgrace to the people of Bauchi. The cleric said he is sad and frustrated at what he did. Meanwhile, the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in the election, Aisha Binani Dahiru, has dismissed the 2 billion naira bribery allegation against her. Senator Binani stressed that the allegation was made when the officer was being tortured at gunpoint, insisting that she never did such. Julie, thank God for INEC that they did the right thing yesterday. Yes. At about the time we were having journalists hang outside, so they concluded the 20 local governments, the 10, and went ahead to declare Governor Fintiri as the governor of the state. It's been a long weekend, and weekend filled with drama and everything. I don't know how much, I don't know what must have pushed Hudu Yunusa to do what he did by coming to announce, and without the proper...
That result sheet.
No, the result sheet was something...
His table was empty. There was nothing.
He had something written. He had a paper written there. So one of the agents removed the paper. So you should fear God that you are fasting. You should fear God. When he was about to read it...
I doubt it, because his mouth... If we go and watch that video again, his mouth was constantly at work, like somebody eating something. Go back and watch that video. I doubt if he was fasting on the day. Because what was he eating? Was it goro that he was eating? But his mouth was at work. You know, something like that. So I said, these people kept saying it's fasting, it's fasting. Who told you it's fasting? How did you determine that it's fasting? Do you live in his house? So he may have made up his mind that, look, I'm going to damn the consequences.
When I got to the airport yesterday, I was told by some security officials that he was whisked out of Adamawa State in an Air Force private plane. And I looked at it and I said, look, I don't know his whereabouts. Nigerians are saying that he should be prosecuted.
He has to be prosecuted. He has to be prosecuted, and if not by this administration, by the next administration. There's no... We have to make it clear to the world that this kind of irresponsible behavior is not tolerated. You know, I was happy for one thing, that INEC moved fast. The statement that INEC issued convinced me that this will never be allowed to degenerate into a constitutional matter, that INEC will stand firm and take the right decision. And that was what they did. They didn't waste time at all.
Because some Nigerians, they were already, you know, comparing the February 25 exercise to this one, that if Mahmoud could fail in the presidential election, that this is just a reflection of, you know, how INEC has degenerated.
That's my problem with them. They compare apples with oranges. I mean, there's no basis for comparison. I've never seen where a wreck behaved the way he did. Mahmoud did not go to the states to usurp the power of the of the returning officers in any state. Mahmoud, in the presidential election, was the national returning officer. That's his role. He never went to Lagos, for example, and said, look,
tell Agbaji what
the woman from Futa.
Okay.
She was a resident, she was the returning officer.
Okay.
The VC.
Okay.
Mahmoud did not say, let me have your result from Lagos. Okay, right? No. Put APC as the winner of the election. He never did that. Let people compare issues sensibly. There is no basis for this kind of comparison. And what is it that they are even saying that Mahmoud did? Because they didn't post to IREF. Was that the issue in this one? These are not related. I know some people, for example, who came up with all kinds of, what's it called? Electoral. See, okay. It's a funny man.
Very funny man. Very funny man. I met him severally. He spoke and
I'm not convinced
to
that.
pull him.
See, just watch. See, is that,
He's always
look, you
shaking
can
his
see that
mouth.
his mouth was at work.
Somebody attempted
You
to
cannot
pull
say he was
him. Look at
chewing
it, look at-
something.
That's PDP agent. One of the PDP agents. That's the guy that pulled out the paper. That wanted to
And
read
I
it.
like the fact that even the IG immediately removed the CP.
Yes.
No, so just watch his mouth. Just watch his mouth. See. See.
Eating something.
He was doing something, and they kept saying that he was fasting. You are saying he's fasting. How did you determine that he's fasting? So because he's suspected to be a Muslim, then he must be fasting. No, you can't just come to that conclusion. He may have made up his mind that day that he's not going to fast. That he's going to do
What he wanted to do.
Tashin Ankali, what the Hausa man will call Tashin Ankali. He's going to do it, therefore, he will not fast. So, if you is from Nengi local government
In Bauchi State.
in Bauchi State, where that famous Senator Abdul Nengi,
Okay.
one time Senate leader, comes from. And the cleric said, let me quote the cleric, he said, when he was nominated as REC designate, he approached me and I told him that I won't congratulate him. Rather, I will counsel him that he should fear Allah and be honest. In doing this kind of job, the fear of God must be in you because you will face all kinds of temptations. That is because even the stack of naira notes are no longer available like before. So they have dollars and they will offer to you. But if you don't have the fear of God, you can easily succumb to their pressures. So, and the man said that when I learned that it was posted to Adamawa and the election was declared inconclusive, I counseled him through a text message, which he replied that he appreciated. You know? And in spite of this, in spite of the admonition of the cleric, Dr. Abdulaziz, who is still misbehaved the way he did.
You had to justify whatever
You cannot-
you have collected.
I don't know. We are not there. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult to
Hey,
say.
a lot of people are saying that.
People will never. People will never agree that
What
he
might have
did it.
aided that is action?
Too, but it's also possible an extremist, if he liked a particular party, he could do it. That's another thing. No, life is not all about money. So I'm not saying that he didn't take money. I have no evidence.
Yes, of course.
I have
But
no
a lot of
evidence.
people are looking at what
That-
would have compelled him.
So that is
Just
the one who knows
the
what
sheet of
pushed him.
paper, and you know the procedure. He's a lawyer.
Is the one who pushed him to disgrace his family the way he has done. Because this, look, whether he likes it or not, his face is already a popular face in our country. He has damaged himself beyond repair. He has damaged himself, damaged his family name. Because what he did, what is the meaning of that? Let the process continue. Let the process end. It's not about liking a party. 20 local governments out of 21 local governments were involved in the exercise. They've done 10. They announced that, okay, they are going to continue collation so time. You quickly, before they got to that time, you went there to execute your own mission. Why would you behave like that?
And you left town immediately.
Why would you be? No, they thought that once he did that, it was irreversible.
Yes.
But they failed to know that even in the current Electoral Act, there's a provision for INEC to review even...
Yeah, within 7 days.
Yes, so...
Within 7 days. Even in spite of declaration, even when the result
they can
has been
come
declared,
back and say, no,
yes,
we did, because they know that
to review.
There could be human errors and
Different
know that they could make a mistake.
yes.
So that was why I was confident that this thing would not be allowed to get away. And the moment I saw Festus there, I knew that INEC was not joking.
Yeah, they came there.
INEC was not joking.
Immediately.
And the hero was also that Justice Ekwo, who refused to listen to Binani's. We have become too predictable. Shehu Sani, the senator with the bushy hair, he posted that he was sure that the next thing is that they will go to court to try to legitimize what happened. And that was what happened. So he said, you see, I said they will go to court, that going to court will be the next thing to perfect an evil committed by Hudu or what's his name?
Seeking ex parte motion.
So the judge then said, okay, come back in 3 days to argue or to address me on the matter of jurisdiction. Before the 3 days, that same day, INEC quickly
came back to
and by that time they can't run to another court again. It was too late.
Well, like Babagidi said, nobody knows what motivated him to act that way. For me, when that election was going on, I had sympathy for Binima. Just, giving us the opportunity to...
For those of us that covered the election from day one, we knew that the way the trend was going. But it was when the 13th local government was read out before that people started... They went on the social media and started congratulating.
Was leading with 31,000, after the first election. And the remaining polling units, we were expecting 37,016. So there was no way this woman was as a winner.
But a lot of Nigerians
didn't see that. No, it's clear.
Because they don't bother.
People, some APC supporters, they were calling us, they were abusing us.
So when they were having the supplementary election, it was obvious that she was not going to win. But I think there should be a deeper inquiry. This man could not have acted. What gave him that courage, to come out and knowing the consequences? So I think
there is a portion of the law that they thought,
everything. They've redeployed the commissioner of police,
and I think it's impressive the way the police acted swiftly.
Yes, that's the way it should be. I mean, no one should encourage brigandage, because what we were saying, just watch his mouth. See, his mouth at work. Yet, it's like he was even eating goro or something. And then you say he's fasting. Do people eat kola nut during fasting? It's not fasting. Why were they deceiving themselves that just around Allah?
Hudu Yusufu.
He said, and he just dismissed the one.
Honestly, just immediately. And as a lawyer, I expected him to do more.
They told me some things about him when he was. They said he rose to the top of the civil service in Bauchi State.
Yeah, I was permanent secretary.
Some things that I don't want to say here. And it says a lot about leadership recruitment modus of our country. How do we recruit people for sensitive positions?
He embarrassed the Independent National
He embarrassed the person who gave him this job.
Yes.
And they don't do due diligence. Honestly, if they have done due diligence, if what they told me about him in Bauchi were true, then it's shameful that this sort of person was allowed to become a wreck. If what they told me, that he did, which I don't want to talk about here, people are free to investigate on their own. What transpired when a new government came in, what was discovered. People are free to investigate. But, it's usually man, no man in our country. If somebody big in government nominates you, you are good to go. And they made him wreck. Now he wrecked the exercise and damaged the name of INEC and even APC.
Community.
Because a lot of these people kept attacking APC. They kept attacking APC over a matter that you could just simply have blamed the INEC man for. I say, hey, we know now, that's what APC does. They lost the election, they lost the presidential election. They are still very sad.
Yes.
Let's not kid ourselves about it.
That's what they're making, that they said the way this was manipulated, that is the way the presidential election was tampered with.
They should bring the proof. Nobody behaved like this during presidential election. That is a fact. Nobody behaved like this. Nobody usurped the power of any arrow. And we had wrecks in all the states. But they didn't interfere with the work of the returning officers in any state. So why should they be saying that it's the same thing? It's not the same thing.
I have Bobby from Jalingo. Let's go ahead, please.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, let me just be brief.
Oh, please do.
What actually happened in Adamawa State, I don't think it has ever happened in any part of this country. Yes. Even from the male side, that they were saying that the women were saying that the male side are actually out of content when it comes to giving the women each and every, as in the right to contest and enact real elections. But what transpired in Adamawa State was a total sham. It was a bill that was not done in the right way. And I just pitied the woman because most of the women that were actually supporting her then actually off track now. I just hope this will actually send a deterrent to any other thing that will happen in anywhere in part of this country.
Thank you, Bobby. It's something that years to come we'll still remember.
You know, this thing has damaged. It's damaged how? Let's not deceive ourselves. But she's damaged by this. No doubt about it. She surprised me by her performance in some of the most conservative parts of Adamawa State. Yola South, where the Lamido of Adamawa hails from. Yola North. This woman dominated the election in those places. And those were the places where people thought that, too many conservatives there, you know, the people there are likely Hausa Fulani, that they will not
vote for her.
Vote for a woman. But she won election in those places with impressive margins.
Yes.
But where we now expected that she would do well in some of the local governments outside of the metropolis were places where she didn't particularly do well. Overall, the governor deserved to win. The governor won far more local governments.
But Julie, some accuse the governor of storming a collation center with security operatives to change results. That's what some APC people are saying, and that they have proof and they can substantiate this.
That the governor went to...
Yes, the governor himself, with security aids, went to a collation center.
Why do you think I was in Yola for 9 days and I predicted 3 times? Even when we were doing post-election analysis here, I predicted 3 times that Binani will not win the election. That must have been something that I saw. She's the only person that I predicted 3 times that she will not win the election. Even when I went on Your View, they interviewed me on Your View, I still repeated it, meaning that on 4 occasions, I said she will not win. That must be something that I saw. Well, I've never had to do that. I knew she would not win. I knew the spread.
It was a close contest.
Yes, it doesn't matter, even if it's 1 vote. In fact, I was shocked by her performance in Mubi North and Mubi South in the first election. In a particular place, she won with more than 30,000. But in the rerun, the governor defeated him in both local governments, Mubi North and Mubi South. Because I felt that now that someone like Bindo had joined PDP, that Bindo will be able to swing the votes to Governor Fintri. But this woman won in those 2 local governments, and Mahia, thanks to the tremendous support of Elisha Abu.
Senator.
Yes, he's in charge of that area. We will have to give it to him. So Elisha was fiercely behind her, and Elisha delivered. That was what made the election even that close. So this is the thing. But in terms of the spread across the state, who has greater support? You know, those local governments, Yola North and the metropolis, they have population, and she dominated those places. But across the state, in terms of number of local governments that each of them, go and check, you see that the governor won far more local government that she did. And then when you are predicting, when you want to predict, you also want to look at that who has the most support in, although it doesn't work all the time sometimes, because we've seen sometimes that a governor will win few local governments and still win the election.
Yes.
But I knew that in her case she will not win the election.
Number of votes. Wale,
I think
the moral lesson to be drawn from this?
It's a lesson for the Senate that next time you want to bring in the name sensitive positions like this, it's not just to look at the CEO on paper. You need to do some investigation.
Due diligence.
It may take you some time. 2, 3 we send people around to sniff around to find out the person that can do this kind of thing. I'm sure if you look back at his record, this is not the first time he has embarrassed. It's not possible at his age. So, and also DSS, sensitive positions like this, when there should be screening. You don't just allow anybody to just come, and embarrass the country, embarrass us in the Committee of Nations. So with the screening process must be more thorough.
You said it was appointed by the president
not just to say, this person nominated this person, and then you just pass on the...
there's a level of...
people keep dropping the name of the president even when they are committing oddities. Will President Buhari be proud of what this fellow has done? Of course, he will not be proud. He can appoint you, but he didn't say you should go and misbehave there. And President Buhari is the master of throwing people under the bus.
We will look the other way.
Once he can bring evidence to him that you have done this, he will behave like he does not know you. That's what happened to the CBN governor. Did he not throw him under the bus? Whereas every little thing he wants to do is going to direct to media. Somebody said, where is the autonomy of the CBN? If for every step that you want to take, you must go and clear with the president. But when push came to show, the president said he does not need me to tell him to obey the Supreme Court. Put effectively under the bus. So the REC can say absolute rubbish that the president appointed. So the president appointed and he said he should not follow due process.
I wish they can get him to interview, him. And we want to know what was going on in his mind. Why he made that move? Because if Aisha Binani is saying that there's no 2 billion naira involved, she didn't bribe this man, what would have made this man to act
Let's
that
leave
way?
him alone. Let's leave him alone.
To go and enjoy his money.
If you ask him questions, you expect him to tell you the truth. Is it every time that people say the truth? When they know that by saying the truth, they are finished? It's not everyone that will stick to the truth at all times. So it's not everything that the politician says to me that I believe. There was something that the late Dia said that I held on to as a young journalist. He said, when he leaves office, that he will not even believe anything that he reads in newspapers anymore. Because you see newspapers will narrate to you what happened in the meeting of generals and all that didn't take place. So politicians are the biggest liars in the world. Bagoda Kato told me, he said, look, when you use the politician, he gives you information after some time. Change. Find another one that once he can see that you trust him unflinchingly, he too will start using you, feeding you lies. Yes, he will start feeding you lies, planting stories in your newspaper and your TV, and then you say, but this person who gave me this story had always been trustworthy. It's not all the time. When he wants to use you, he will lie to you because he knows he will go to town with it.
Waladiri, thank you for your contribution. And Babajide Kolade, thank you for your contribution. Thanks. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Idris Abdulaziz. Bye for now.